Okay, now let's get down to what is it worth? We know what it's going to cost. What is it worth? The difference between the cost and the worth is where you make money, right? There's a statement that somebody has made, I think it was the Romans, but it's something is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And that varies all over. I mean, you can find people that think they will never pay more than $20,000 for a car. Other people wouldn't look at a car that wasn't more than $20,000. All those cars are the same vehicles. I mean, they're going to get you from A to B. So people have really different feelings about what something is worth. And that's the first thing for you to do. It's figure out who is your someone. When you're bidding this out to somebody, some people like to pay top dollar. Other people are looking for bargains. And you need to have an idea, who is this person that's receiving this bid? What options do they have? I mean, are they bidding it to 3 other people? Are they looking to do it in-house? Maybe they just will decide to do a direct mail piece instead or update their website. And you need to know, what are you bidding against? And it may not have anything to do with video. So let's talk about the business of training clients. How you interact with the client, particularly the very first time, will be how they expect you to act from then on. So if you go in with a bid expecting that you're going to have to reduce it by some percentage, well, guess what's going to happen? If you go in with a bid and if they don't like that bid, the only way to reduce it is to change the bid, change the definition of the project so that everything is in balance. Well, that's what you'll train them to do. It's worth thinking about this and deciding how you want to handle it. Okay, the next way of looking at what something is worth is, of course, comparables. You do this with houses all the time. One of the comparables that gets used in video is per finished minute. I don't like per finished minute bids. I think they really do a disservice to everybody, and here's why. Mark Twain said, "I would have written a shorter letter, but I didn't have the time." It actually takes more effort, from my experience, to produce a shorter video with the same content than it does to just kind of take your time with it. It's a harder thing to write. You have to edit tighter. All kinds of things get more intense with shorter. So the per finished minute should probably be higher on a shorter piece. Like television commercials, which are 15 seconds, 30, maybe 60 seconds long. Telling the whole story in 15 seconds is harder than in 60 seconds and harder than in 5 minutes. And network news stories are 90 seconds long. And look at the impact those things have. None of that can be priced by the finished minute. And even when you look at online work, attention spans are short. You want to get this thing done as quickly as possible, but that's not necessarily as cheaply as possible. They don't go hand in hand. Another way people look at comparables is high concept versus straightforward. I mean, if you're bidding something where you're going to bring in a crane and you're going to shoot with 5 cameras and you're going to have actors that are known actors, and somebody else is looking at this project and it's a 2-camera shoot and they're going to use the people who work there, that's apples and oranges. You need to make sure that your concepts are comparable before you can look at the price. But the real thing about comparables that I would say is make yourself incomparable. Like, learn how to create metadata around the video so that it gets indexed by search engines really well. The normal video company doesn't know how to do that. That means that what you offer is incomparable to theirs and you win. The real thing about what it is worth, though, at the bottom line is, what is it worth to you? I mean, you may be looking to add something to your reel, add a name to a client list, or even just get a credit. I know a guy that spent a couple of weeks on the Avatar movie sound stage, and he gets that credit. So there's value to you in all of those things, and that may influence what you charge, or what you think that it's worth. You may just be looking for the experience. Maybe it's a 35mm film shoot, and you want to run part of the camera on that and get that experience. Then there's the pain in the butt factor. I had a client who came in to an existing client, and he was a marketing manager, and I had to deal with him. Turns out everything I took to this guy, he wanted a discount. Every time I had to sharpen the pencil or something. I forget how he called it. Well, I finally figured out his game. I just started marking it up. So he wanted like 5% off. I'd mark it up 10%. And the worse it got, the more pain in the butt he got, the more markup I put on it. So, you have to kind of look at that as what's it worth to you too. There's always a lost opportunity. If you're in a busy market and you're doing well, you take this project, you can't take the one that comes up that wants you at the same time. So you have to factor all of that in when you're looking at what does this actually work to you. And let's talk a little bit about flat rate versus estimate and actual. When you want me to work with you on, say, scripting, I only have simple projects and big projects, two rates, and I choose. Nothing by the page or the minute or any of that. If you want me to show up and be on the set when we're shooting, well, that's a day rate. If you want me in edit, that's a day rate. So I kind of go between these two things. If I'm the producer, then I'm going to probably give you an estimate and an actual. But it's good to understand the difference between those and figure out where you fit in the whole world of this.